This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the Daily FX Forum.
So here are the 5 pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, the Euro Swiss, as well as the Euro Aussie. So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. The first chart is the Euro Pound. You should still all be in this trade again, which was short from 88.23, and I would keep that stop at 88.75. Again, that 88.40 area should be formidable resistance over the next several weeks or even months. Shorter term prices on the daily here have drafted a doji or borderline doji candle, which is a little bit concerning, but longer term I do expect prices to take out these lows right here, which is about the 86.50 area. Again, I would just stay in the trade on the short side. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi, and if you were listening to yesterday's report, you were stopped out on that trade idea, which was short at 26.70 with a stop at 27.30. We could see prices have exceeded the upper resistance line of the channel, and I would just be on the sidelines here, and we'll update if I see any favorable risk reward entries during tomorrow's report. The next chart is the Pound Swiss, and again, this has been acting as the inverse of the Euro Pound, and we can also see the doji here, borderline doji candle. The body is a little bit wider than usual. However, moving forward here, I do like to have a bearish bias against the high of that doji, which is about 69.73, and right now that's about 100 pips away, so this trade could materialize, but it very well might not over the next 24 hours. I would look for an entry if prices do get up to about the 69.10 area and place a stop at about 69.90. So again, that would be short 69.10 with a stop at 69.90. The next chart is the Euro Swiss, and not much has changed here. Still just on the sidelines. What I envision happening here, or potentially what might happen to form a longer term base, could be an inverted head and shoulder pattern, but we could see that might take a little bit more time to kind of pan out here or draft itself. As we can see, this would be the left shoulder, this would be the head. So again, we might look over the next few sessions to see if that does materialize. And again, this is one of the things that I like to do is sort of, my best trades are usually found a couple hundred pips or a couple of days in advance, and this is something that I'm looking for that could materialize, and if it does, I might get a little bit aggressive once it actually does present itself. The next chart is the Euro Aussie, and not much has changed here. Again, still just waiting for prices to come up to that 159.40 area. Tentatively, I would say right now to have orders in short 59.25 with a stop right at that 160 figure, but again, that's quite a ways away right now with prices only at 156, but certainly within the realm of possibility that it could present itself towards the end of this week or maybe next week. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the Daily FX Forums. I want to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all to the Daily FX Forums. I want to go through the process of how I personally access the forums and how maybe you at home, if you want to access the forums in the future, might do so. The first thing you would do is go to www.dailyfx.com, and that will bring up, obviously, dailyfx.com, and usually there on the upper right hand corner I'll go ahead and click on where it says forum, and that will bring up the first page of the forums. And this view, I personally don't use this view, but this view actually shows you the most recent posts on all the threads within the different sections and a little detail about those posts, so you can read through and see if there's something catches your interest. But personally, I go ahead and just click on forums and view them in the more traditional sense. Now, these are different threads within the forum. There's a section on education, such as Daily FX course instructor tips, which would be good for newer traders, and then for more advanced traders. And I just want to go ahead, personally, the way I use the forums is I would go through the individual threads, just looking for trade ideas, maybe looking at charts, looking at certain lines that maybe I didn't put up on my chart, but another trader might have put up on their chart. I tend to shy away from using direct trade recommendations from other forum members, but it helps me to sort of even out my analysis, make sure that I'm seeing things with the right mind in terms of I might be missing stuff that other traders can see, and that's my personal way of using the forum. Every trader is going to be a little bit different in how they use it. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to become an active participant of the members, you would have to go ahead and register. So that's what I'm going to go through now, is the registration process. So assuming you're brand new to the forums, or maybe you've been here a few times and you're not really sure how it works, so I just want to walk through again the registration process. This would be the front page where you would access, or the previous page. You'd have the same little box here on the left-hand side. Obviously, my username and password are already filled out here, but assuming you're a new member, you would click on where it says register, and that will bring up the registration page. If you give me one moment here while my browser loads. And actually, first we're going to have some terms of service and Daily FX forum rules. I do suggest reading through the forum rules. Obviously, profanity and spam and things like that are not allowed, but it also gives you insight on how to use the forum and how different traders can use it in terms of their individual needs. So you would go down to the bottom there, you'd click on where it says I have read all the rules, and then you would go ahead to the register the formal registration page, and that will bring up here. And you can go ahead and select the username, and how about we'll use 4x, and that name is already in use, so maybe add a few more x's there. Again, it really, your individual username is up to you, and you go ahead and fill in your password, your email address. Now, the most difficult aspect of registration for the Daily FX forums will be figuring out these letters in the box here. Now, I'm a semi-intelligent person, but I have a very difficult time figuring out which letters and numbers to use. Now there is a reason for this madness. It helps with security, but I would suggest just going ahead and keep on clicking that refresh image until something comes through that you can actually identify and see. Then you can go ahead and enter your birthday, but you can decide whether or not to display that to other forum members. And then also, if you were referred by somebody, you can enter that information there. The time zone, that should default to your computer, but you should double check and make sure. And then you can opt in, and I would suggest opting in for these emails in terms if the administrators want to go ahead and send you some notices about the forum, and then you would complete registration. Now what happens is they would send you an email to the email address that you put up here, and that email will include a link, and all you would have to do is go ahead and click on that link, and that link will bring you inside the forum, and you would now be a member of the Daily FX forums. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening.